I'll be talking about program or be programmed. That is a very interesting topic because as part of my work every day to be an aspiring software developer is to make sure that I understand how computer works, or how computer can be the next, or should I say technology can be the next way for Africa to voice out. We are currently doing that using music. Recently, when I was coming down to Aba, I was busy listening to the new Beyonce's album, where Wizkid, Tiwa Savage, and the rest. So it's actually showing how, 1 point about over 1 billion people in a continent where, if you combine the whole wealth of Africa, just like they say through the GDP, we're still not even the first 7th richest country in the world if Africa becomes a country, right? Because countries like Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, Egypt, or even Ghana are supposed to be the next level economy. It is way back when I was in secondary school. I was reading about how Nigeria was toe to toe with China, India in terms of growing the GDP. So why is this topic very important to me? When the organizers reached out to me, I was in Aba giving a talk. Then I figured, okay, so I'm not coming here to, come to explain to you why you need to be a programmer, or you need to be a software engineer, or you need to take a, should I say, subject, or go to school to study computer science. That's not my intention. My intention is to give you, or to share the possibility of how technology can be able to bring that new voice that normally you have to go through some procedures, just like what the guy before me was actually talking about, how he says the Westerners doesn't care about us. Well, I have my own bias in terms of that statement, but again, it's a possibility. There's chances that you might be the most qualified person in that room, and you apply for a job or you apply for a position, and at the same time somebody less qualified in terms of education gets to get the job anyways. So I'll just briefly introduce myself for those who doesn't actually know me. My name is Samson Goddy. I'm a software engineer, currently serving as one of the oversight board for a US non-profit organization called Sugar Labs. What we do is to create content and software, basically like an operating system for kids to learn how to code, and also to reinvent how to use computer. And that is what I do in the US. Now let me come back to Africa. Before I will talk about this organization, I will just have to share a story of why the organization came into place. So I was just finishing primary school, about going to secondary school, close to my house, and some kind of a glitch happened, and then I went to a community school. But during that year, I think that was in 2009, I was getting to secondary school 2009. So during that year, my school made a collaboration with Slumberger. Most of you know it as Slumberger. Forgive my pronunciation. So Slumberger made a partnership with MIT to bring in a bunch of computers. When I mean MIT, I'm talking about should be the best university in the world in terms of world ranking. Brought some series of computer that looks like that. It's called the One Laptop Per Child computer. Most of you might have seen it on the internet. It's the little green machine. So my school was among one of the 3 schools that the project was actually piloted on. So I got the computer when I was I think I was roughly about 9 when I got the computer. And well, my first impression was like, okay, what is this? I was so, not necessarily, I didn't have a personal computer then, but I was so used to the Windows operating system, because that was running Linux. An operating system that geeks, or should I say the way the tech ecosystem have made it to be, where the geeks actually use, programming, or that's, when you watch movie, that's cyber hacking, you see them hacking, even though it's not real. But basically that's what the operating system operate, because it gives you some kind of total freedom. So, well, I got the computer, I started working on the computer, and we formed this, some kind of a team in the classroom. We're using an application called Scratch, and started working. And the point is, we're this group of young people in the classroom, or young students in the classroom, and surprisingly, yes, we were supposed to be in school learning basically about chemistry, physics, or whatever they categorize it on. But that was not actually my interest. My interest was to create the next billion creators, or to inspire the next billion creators. When I mean the next billion creators, I'm talking about Africa here. I got the computer working, and then some opportunity came down, and I went to a camp where I worked with some group of scientists at MIT, and then I started volunteering for Schlumberger. What I was doing was working with Nigeria Academy of Science, bringing students down to Port Harcourt, and then we started working in terms of bringing students. They bring ideas, we form ideas, teach them robotics and science, to look for ways to solve the electricity problem, flooding problem, just one of the challenges that we have here in Nigeria. That picture was taken in 2012 or 13, if I'm not. I think 2011, yeah. So that was my computer, and I was doing something called the Total Art. It's a graphical programming language that increase your knowledge in terms of math. So that was me in that camp, and I was trying to figure out a solution that I was working on. Then I came back to my school, and most of my guys were telling me, "Oh, Samson, there's this game we've been playing online. And we'll go to cyber cafe, we'll go to cyber cafe, spend more money. We keep spending money on something that we could actually get on the computer. So how do we even make this an app?" I was like, okay. At that time, I was already writing Python. Started writing Python like 6 months after I got that computer. So then I was like, okay, so I think it's a challenge for me. I need to figure out how to get that game on this computer. Remember, this is not a Windows, or this is not or a Mac OS. It was an interesting operating system that normally, for you to create games into that laptop, it becomes really, really hard. So yes, that was the game. It doesn't actually. This is the newer version of how the software, the website looks. Anyways, I took that screenshot about I think a week ago. But yeah, it was less nicer than this, because HTML and CSS way back was not that matured. Website was looking very funny. We used to use Facebook like 2010 or something. How Facebook used to look like, right? So we used to struggle back then if you're into tech. So yes, that was the game. We spent a lot, because again, that's an online game, uses Flash, and I was trying to figure out the best way for me to get that game from the internet into that computer. So what I did was I went through, made some awesome stuff, read document. I was busy. My folks were supposed to be reading for WAEC. I was busy reading documentation online. So just figured out how to solve that solution. Well, I think I did. Opened my GitHub repo. My mentor from MIT, I told him, "Hey Walter, I want to create a project." It's a very big challenge in my community, not just my community, but also my school. I want to create that game and try to figure out the best way. He was like, "Okay, nice. I love what you're doing," because again, Sugar Labs is an open source community. So we're like, "Oh, okay, good, nice. I love what you're doing. So this is what you need to do. This is how to hack into that system. This is how you need to write the code to make that code work. All you just need to do is to download, just save the HTML file and then bring it to your computer. Then, start writing some scripts that will run that locally for you." So I read the documentation. I went through the process, tried many times, failed, keep getting these errors. So I was like, okay, fine, Samson. How about you export that code into GitHub? So that was the first time I created a GitHub account. I think I can't remember the exact year, but I know it was way early. I think they were one of the earliest stage of GitHub then. So I fished in my code then there, and to cut the story short, we started collaborating on the project, and then I released that code. Basically, the game, it worked. I released the code in the Sugar Labs community, and I saw over 36,000 downloads on the App Store. This is not your Google Play Store. This is not your iOS store. This was that community store. So it's over 36,000 downloads. A lot of people from Rwanda, different countries using that computer was reaching out to me, because that picture there was actually a kid, I think about my age, or I think I was like 3 years older than him, from Hong Kong. His mentor reached out to me from China. I was like, hey, I love what you're doing. The kids down here in China actually love this game. Actually, this is the guy that, he's been looking for ways for you to, to reach out to me. I was like, oh, nice. He sent him the picture on Facebook and also some videos on the internet saying how awesome these kids were like, oh, chanting my name. It was so awesome for me. I was like, oh, this is really nice. And then that happened. That happened in the sense that was a picture from me in 2017 at the Google headquarters in Mountain View, California. So because I'm trying to cut the story short, I started continuing from there, building stuff, working in the community, reaching out to people abroad, started chatting with, people from different languages like Spanish, English, and also trying to do some stuff down here in Africa. I did something called the Google Summer of Code as a mentored the students in India using the Google platform, and then I was invited to come down to the Google headquarters in 2017. But there was one striking stuff that, challenged me. I was one out of 2 Africans in that building, over 400 people. The youngest person close to my age, I think, that I talked to was about 38, and I was like 17, I think, about going to 18 then. So it was really challenging for me, because I was like, whoa, is it that we Africans, we don't want to play around technology, or we've just been scared, right? So then I started talking to people that, okay, I need to change this. How do I change this? Because I came back to Nigeria. There was this, engineering, it's US now. It's not just US, it's Google, company that I've been looking forward to, working or even consulting with them. So after I came back, because from this picture, I went to Harvard that week to discuss with some students, we did some stuff, and then went to meet my folks at MIT Media Lab, discussing how to solve African problems in terms of technology. I came back home and I said, okay, I need to do something. I need to figure out what to do. Then I met my friend, Ada, she's based in Lagos. I was like, hey, how about we create this community called Open Source Community Africa, where our aim is to make sure that we, not just teach people how to code or to give them inspiration on how to code, but also give them a leverage where they could communicate and share their story, to the Westerners or to these people that doesn't see you or leverage you as important as you should become. Like, for example, in terms of referencing this Beyonce's album in this case. So yes. So that is my story. But now, the point is, internet is very broad. We use a lot of apps. But the question is, how many of us have even considered, at least back of our head, like, okay, so how can I even create these apps? I use Instagram, I use Snapchat, I use Facebook, I use whatever you're using. I'm actually using a smartphone right now. It's probably, I don't know what they even call it. But the question is, have you even bothered to even ask yourself, how do I create this app? How can I even leverage or leverage my business through the internet? This was a question I've been asking myself way back when I was like 9. Yes, it was crazy. I was supposed to be playing Xbox or even playing PlayStation, going out to play football. But yes, I figured out there was like less priorities. I try to, reroute my priorities to something that I think might be the next big thing. Probably because I was always thinking about creating the next billion creators or to inspire the next billion creators. But yeah, so those are the questions that I think, or an actual question that we should all go back home and ask ourselves, Why is this really important? Can we really do without the internet? Is it that awesome? What happens if I just wake up tomorrow and I don't see any internet? What is even, do we even have an African apps? Do you even go to school to even learn computer science? If you go to school to learn computer science, do you even know how to create a website? Have you even bothered leaving your school curriculum to create a website? I'm not even in school yet. I'm having intention to, but it's still a question I'm asking myself. What do I think is important? Thank you very much.